This is the future. This is not the past.
The new XFL will kick off in 2020.
If you smell what the XFL is cooking.
It's still football, but it's professional football reimagined.
This is our moment, our story to tell. This is history begun.
This is the XFL!
Welcome, football fans. This is the week of November 25th, 2018. This is the road to 2020, and this is the XFL show. I'm Alan.
I'm Jake.
Should I tell him? And I'm Bryant.
Yes. That's you. Yes, that is you. This week, we may have seen a glimpse of live betting to come in the XFL. We had our turkey bowls, and we have an XFL legend to spotlight. It's episode 43, Thankful for Football. And now I want to ask you, I've been waiting all week. Jake, how the hell are you doing after Thanksgiving? How was it, man?
Oh, Thanksgiving was great. Once again, we had to call the turkey bowl at the end of the first half because everybody was just way too blowed up.
Yeah, well, that's usually what happens. Especially if you want to finish a game, it's very tough. You got to have a lot of guys in shape. That's very rare. At least I know for you and I. How about you, Bryant? How was your Thanksgiving?
Alan, I'm stuffed with some good pavo and some good jamon. It was a good Thanksgiving over here. I didn't make it to the football field. I was blowed up before coin flip.
I'm still making jamon sandwiches right now. Actually, we want to kind of speed through this show. So hopefully everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. And if you're listening in not the United States, you probably didn't have Thanksgiving, but you're missing out. Turkey, ham, it's what it's all about. Turkey bowls, football, and we're in a football frenzy this time of year. So let's get cracking on everything going on in the XFL. Remember, everyone listening, you must subscribe to this show. You must follow our YouTube channel now. We're there. We're putting the full episodes on YouTube as well. This is the XFL show on YouTube. And of course, you could call in. You must call in. Be heard. We're building a league together. 724-565-4XFL is the XFL fan line. On this week's show, we are going to have an XFL Legend spotlight. Haven't done that in a while, but we're pretty much doing the biggest XFL Legend of all time today. Can't wait to get to that. Before we do that, we must go through some quick news and notes of the week. It's our cover two.
Going for two. Go for two and the lead.
According to PWInsider.com, which is a pro wrestling kind of dirt sheet, as they call it, or news breakers in the world of pro wrestling, but obviously Vince McMahon involved with the XFL. The news broke Adidas will be challenging the trademark of Vince McMahon's Alpha Entertainment logo. The Alpha Entertainment logo does involve, three stripes there on the left side of the A, if you're looking at it right now, Bryant and Jake. And Adidas is saying, hey, that's too close to our iconic Adidas stripes. Quit it with that. So it's maybe a big lawsuit coming down the road unless Alpha Entertainment changes their logo. I don't know how important that logo is to the league, but the Alpha logo, you've seen it. Is it too close to the classic Adidas three-stripe logo, Jake?
If I had to say, is this something or nothing, 100%, I would say this is nothing. This is, if you want to say, yeah, there's three stripes, well, you know what? There's three stripes in the letter E. I think they have, as much of a case as Coca-Cola trying to claim infringement because Alpha Entertainment's logo is red and white as well.
I see where you're coming from there. How about you, Bryant? What do you think of these logos? We're looking at them side by side right now.
Yeah, Jake, I take your perspective on this, and for two reasons, really. One, I don't think it's quite similar. I mean, there's very huge differences
between the two. And think that was Adidas,
right?
Even if it was James, that's not,
And the second reason it doesn't matter is because if they get stopped, they just change the logo. It's not like Alpha Entertainment is this, I looked at this logo and didn't even know what the Alpha Entertainment logo was. So it's not something that's been around for that long that people are actually be like, hey, don't change the Alpha Entertainment logo.
It's not the XFL logo or the
exactly.
XFL
that's
letters.
the most.
So either whatever the
thing,
outcome is,
that's the most.
Whatever the
important
outcome
thing.
is, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, exactly. The most important thing, it's not the XFL logo, it's the Alpha logo, which is the parent company of the XFL that Vince McMahon started to make it separate from, World Wrestling Entertainment. Although now we're hearing rumors that the WWE, some staff within WWE, or at least in that building, are involved with the new day-to-day with the XFL, but nothing really officially confirmed, or details at least on that. We're just hearing reports on that. More on that as it comes out. Well, of course, we'll talk about it on the show, but I just want to say the Adidas logo, those stripes lean to the left. The stripes in the Alpha logo lean to the right, unless I'm wrong. I'm looking at it backwards here, but that's way different to me, at least. I don't know.
Alan, you see the E in the A, right? That's the E. The three stripes are the E.
That makes an E for Alpha Entertainment. It's very clever. It's like
exactly.
It's like that hidden arrow in the FedEx logo nobody knows about except me.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice that?
No, yes. I mean, I think everybody knows that.
I thought it was cool.
You got to use your negative space very wisely.
No, I mean...
You were saying something, Brian? No.
No, I just don't think. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not an issue, because either they're gonna get stopped and they have to change the logo that it's existed for 8 months, or they're gonna they're gonna win and then move forward.
You never know with these lawsuits. Before you know it, maybe Adidas will own the XFL, or maybe maybe this will bring them together. Maybe Adidas will be the official apparel provider for the XFL at a discounted rate. We'll see. Our second part of the cover 2 this week, got asked the question: the Grey Cup, the 106th Grey Cup, will be in Edmonton. As of this show dropping every football Sunday morning, later tonight, if you're listening to it as it drops Sunday night, November 25th, up in Canada, it's the CFL's championship game, the Grey Cup. The CFL, though, are they in trouble? The AAF starting in 2019, XFL in 2020. We've discussed this some, but now there's a new league directive in the CFL where they're not going to pay off-season player bonuses until they get a new CBA intact, and their collective bargaining agreement ends right after that Grey Cup game ends Sunday night. So that means there's a big issue between players in the league, and that's going to start Sunday night right away as the season ends. So usually the CFL guys, I know you guys don't know the history as much as maybe I have started learning over the past couple seasons, becoming a fan, but the CFL historically gets what it wants because, well, I mean, you could guess. There's no other leagues playing when they play. What are these players going to do? Either go sit around and wait to make and hope to make an NFL roster, or go, work real jobs. So the CFL, when it comes to their CBAs, usually gets what it wants. But the AAF and the XFL might change that. You got guys making $54,000 Canadian up in the CFL, and they have a shot to make, $75,000 a year American, $80,000 a year American in the AAF, and even more in the XFL in 2020. So with the Grey Cup happening, got Stampeders, Red Blacks, going to be a great game. The CFL's, they're trying to put together a 10th team even up over in Halifax. They're going to call them the Atlantic Schooners, which is a whole show topic onto itself sometime down the road. But with all this going on with their CBA, the players historically kind of being handcuffed, now they have some bargaining power. So my question to you is, Jake, is the CFL in trouble? 106 Grey Cups. I don't think that league could ever be in trouble.
Well, they're going to have competition from one league this year and 1 or 2 leagues the following year after that. So my best answer is, the market will determine this.
Brian?
Jake, I think they're preparing themselves for 2 things. 1, the AAF, and 2, the XFL. I mean,
they know a war is on the horizon. They just, they're
is this a war? Is this a war?
It's not a war, but
all survive.
You got to keep your eye on them. It's not that they all can't survive. It's not all that. But the CFL has the advantage of actually being relevant now, right? They are a league. They are established. So the CFL. CBA, I think is gonna hit. They're gonna try to figure out a way to make sure their players don't jump ship and move forward. And maybe we talked about lawsuits with this logo thing, but maybe they're opening themselves up to some lawsuits about not paying player bonuses.
Yeah.
by, I feel like you have to pay your bonuses for a season that was under the CBA and not, I don't know. That to me seems a little strange, but I think the CFL is going to try to gear this CBA towards being able to compete with the XFL and the AAF.
Yeah, there's other things going into this too. I mean, I was surprised to hear CFL players' healthcare isn't really that great, and that's a country where they have, national health care. Everybody does, but apparently for players in the CFL, it's a little wishy-washy. So they have some issues there with their next collective bargaining agreement, and with the AAF and the XFL now, arriving yet to play, but they're here, and that's an option now. We'll see how this goes for the CFL. They've, steered these waters somewhat before, but it's 2 leagues now within a span of 2 years. Do you see this as, we all been saying AAF versus XFL is a thing? Is this a triple threat here, triple threat match, Jake? Is this CFL versus AAF versus XFL? Or is the CFL unto itself already too established? 106 Grey Cups have been played for crying out loud. I don't see them ever being in trouble of anything except losing American players. And even then, I think there's still plenty of people who want to play football. They could go up to Canada and it might be an uglier looking game, but I always think the CFL is going to be around when you've been around that long.
I think this is a larger case of, the NFL versus everybody. You got all these little groups coming up. You got CFL, you got AAF, you got XFL. We don't know if the indoor league is going to be around any longer. I really don't think they can all survive. Or if they, no, I'm going to leave it at that. I do not think they can all survive. The CFL could survive on a very, much lower scale than they are right now. I mean, you ask the American citizen to name a CFL team, and they're probably not going to be able to do it. I can't even name them all for you.
Atlantic Schooners? That's not a real team yet. That's the 10th team they're trying to. You
guys made fun of the name the Fleet in the AAF. Well, the Schooners are only powered by wind. So I think the Fleet has something on them already.
That'd be a great all-star matchup right there. Brian, if you're a CFL all-star quarterback, your contract's up here, there's no CBA, are you jumping ship, even though you're a star making pretty much the most money of anybody almost in the CFL? Are you jumping ship to go to the AAF or the XFL, 2 leagues that have not even played football yet and might not last more than a season?
Yeah, no, I think you can relate this to your everyday human, right? Your everyday American, your everyday worker. Do you want to leave your job that's comfortable, that's something you know is going to be around for longer than something that you don't know is going to be around for a long time? Like, is that a safe move? I don't make that move right now, and unless they're going to guarantee me like 3-4 years of a contract, certain dollar value, things like that, I'm not jumping ship just to be one of the other players on these leagues until that league sort of.
How could you believe them that you're going to get a multi-year paycheck whenever one league has never existed before and the other league they've only lasted for 1 year?
Yeah, I think on the AAF side, I would that would be a more sensitive issue, right? I think the XFL might be more inclined to pay just because of Vince McMahon's backing, his history, his company, the WWE, all that stuff. I think he wants to avoid any negative publicity or anything like that. But you're right, Jake. I mean, you don't know. Even if they guarantee you 4 years, are you going to get this in the next 4 years, or are you going to have to fight them in court and get it in 10 years? You don't know. So I'm glad I don't have to make that decision as a player. But if I was a player, I probably wouldn't.
If I was to guess, I'd say stars like Bo Levi Mitchell, the Calgary Stampeders quarterback, guys like him are probably going to wait to see before going back to America to play football. See if the AAF or XFL lasts more than a season. You can maybe see those guys jump in year 2 or 3 into those to the new leagues, because I'm sure they want to be playing in the United States. If you're a USA player playing up in Canada, you of course want to go back home. So that's the risk you take to go back home, maybe go into this unfamiliar territory, these 2 new leagues. Real quick, guys, 106 Grey Cup. Who you got, Calgary or Ottawa, Jake?
I'm going with Calgary on this one.
Alberta, Canada. Stampeders. Bo Levi Mitchell. Yeah. They've been the best team all season. How about you, Bryant?
That's why I picked them.
Jake, if you want to put $20 on this, I'll go with Ottawa.
Brian, you're cutting out there.
I love it. I love the live betting on This Is the XFL show. Great segue.
I only
there,
bet
Brian.
on a play-by-play basis.
So yes, I've got a bonus part of our cover too here. It's a bonus down, if you will. Here, live betting. I don't know if you saw the Phil versus Tiger, the match, the golf one-on-one golf match that was on pay-per-view, but it had live betting on the screens, and it was very interactive with people watching at home, and it gave you statistics and odds, and we assume that is what is going to be incorporated into the XFL with the app and how they say, make a bet in the initial wrap that came out. Bryant, live betting during the match. Did you watch the match? And what did you think? If you did, what did you think of the live betting aspect? If you didn't, I know you've heard about it. How do you see that translating to football?
I didn't catch it live. I did see some interesting things, some player bets that made that very unique broadcast. The side betting, I mean, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but this is available now for any match, any type of anything. So how do I think it's going to affect football and the AF and the XFL? I mean, if they can do it right, it's going to make a lot of people interested in games.
Well, yeah, because on the side, you got on the side there, like on a side scroll, or maybe on the bottom line, you've got live betting odds. Odds that this is a run, odds that this is a pass, odds that this goes for a touchdown maybe. You'll see it right then and there, and you could place bets accordingly. I think that interactive aspect is going to be huge, and I think that's exactly what the AAF's gunning for with how tech-heavy they're going with their whole presentation. And that was just a little glimpse, I think, if you watch the match with Phil and Tiger. And there's a great article we retweeted, I believe it was from the Wall Street Journal, if you want to do some heavy sports reading. Maybe when you wake up football Sunday morning, I set my fantasy lineup, in the bathroom, Jake, every Sunday. But I'll also read some Wall Street Journal if they got a great article like that. That's highly recommended. We retweeted it out there at XFL Show on Twitter. Also, real quick, bonus downs. Aaron Murray, former Georgia Bulldog quarterback, jumping from the analyst booth, CBS Sports Network. Most recently, he's going into the AAF. So that got me thinking, you got an analyst who was just out of football, still now hope for AAA Tebow. I know he's moving up with the Mets organization, guys, but fingers crossed, guys going from the booth or from doing analyst work to back to football. Is Tim Tebow the player you want to see in the XFL the most, Jake? Because he's up there on my list, top 3.
As a personally, no. But if I have a vested interest in the league, which I do, yes, I want to see him because I know he'll put butts in seats and eyeballs on television screens.
How about you, Brian? What do you think about the Tim Tebow situation? Aaron Murray, a very similar kind of, he's not playing baseball, but he's doing analyst work talking college football every weekend, and now he's got the itch and he's going back to play in one of the new leagues. Do you see Tim Tebow or other ex-players who are maybe in the media doing that?
Do I see them doing that? I mean, I don't know. Those contracts are pretty rich in the TV deals nowadays. If they have that itch and they're still young enough, probably. I don't see any of like the Tony Romos going back, anything like that happening.
He's making so much money and doing. He's killing it too. He's great on the he might be the best analyst going right now, Tony Romo. What about Pat McAfee, Jake, the former punter? He's not too far gone from the game and a young guy.
No, he's not. But again, I'm wondering, is he making more money away from a minor league than he would be playing?
Doing podcasts and making random appearances on WWE TV. So we're keeping an eye on all those kind of name brands that are signing with the leagues. Aaron Murray was a big SEC quarterback. He'll be joining. I believe he signed with, I want to say, the Birmingham team. No, Atlanta Legends.
He said Atlanta Legends.
There you go. Georgia, obviously. They're going regional. Come on. Yeah. Aaron Murray signs with the Atlanta Legends. And, that's it for our cover 2 this week, guys. Of course, any XFL news that drops, we'll be shooting it out there on social media, talking about it throughout the week. The shows drop every football Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Be sure to subscribe. This is the XFL Show on Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you get yours. We are thankful for your subscriptions. We're thankful for your likes, your retweets, you calling into the XFL fan line. So thankful for that. This week it was Thanksgiving, so before we get to our spotlight for the week, Jake, I want to ask you, when it comes to football, what are you thankful for?
I mean, one thing I'm thankful for, and it's an enormous part of football. It's probably 50%. And for those of you that know me and have listened to me on the show enough, you know that my answer is defense. And no, it's not commercials. But you need the commercials. They are a very integral part of the game. But it's defense. Again, I like seeing somebody get hit. I don't necessarily like seeing, somebody's career potentially be on the line. But I really do like defense. So that's something.
Can I ask you something, Jake? Did you enjoy the Monday night game between the Rams and the Chiefs at all?
It looked like an NBA game, honestly.
Yeah, but the thing about that game is a lot of points were scored.
There was a defensive score.
Yeah, there were defensive scores. There were defensive plays. The game was won on an interception. So defense can play in a high-scoring game.
Defensive plays. Yeah, I understand. I actually watched probably 5 minutes of that game just because of some other things I was working on that night, and I watched the highlights the next morning.
The thing is, Brian, you can have great defense in a high-scoring game, I think. And I think that game proved it.
Yeah, you have great defensive plays, and I think that's the one thing that the Rams had.
You can have great defensive plays in a game, but I don't think you can say you have great defense whenever combined they put up over 100 points.
Well, I think the way the game is played now, the offense is built to be better than the defense. It isn't 50-50 on the field in terms of advantage, right?
Yeah,
I don't mean to bastardize your thankfulness here, Jake, but I'm just saying.
With a 13-9 final,
there's nothing wrong with that game. I'm just saying the way the game is played now.
Yeah,
13-9 means there's probably a hurricane on the horizon, and they're playing in 6 inches of mud. That's probably what that means.
Or it means WVU is on the verge of going to the national championship, and they just got stomped out by Pitt. But let's not bring the old stuff up. Let's talk about what we're thankful for, Bryant. What are you thankful for when it comes to football?
You know what, Alan, I debated whether I was going to say this or not, but it is truly what I'm thankful for, and I know you're not going to like it. I am thankful for instant replay. I think it's I know, but it's made the game correct. It's made officials accountable. I think why wouldn't you want the right play to happen?
Now you're saying you're thankful that the correct outcome is being rendered. That aspect of instant replay. Okay.
I'm gonna change what I was gonna say and now say I'm thankful for human error.
We can have two then.
I love human error. Thank you, human error.
Why would you want a game decided on something that could have been overturned by video play, but then not because there doesn't exist? That's not what you want. I think you want instant replay.
I'm still anti because I think it's fun to talk about what a dummy the ref was. How'd he miss that call? And know that
you could still do that.
You could still do that, but now you know that he shouldn't have missed it because we have instant replay. So where is the accountability if we have instant replay and they're still not being held accountable and they get it wrong anyway? That's the frustrating thing for me. But hey, you be thankful for what you're thankful for, Brian. I'm not going to judge you, even though I think it's very, very odd that anybody would want replay. I love replay on my TV, slow motion, so I could see the play clearer, but it determining plays, I think it just opened up a whole universe in the football world years ago, and we are never going to escape it, unfortunately. What I'm thankful for different leagues with different personalities, different possibilities, different traditions, and different rules. The best part about the XFL returning, and even the AAF getting into the action, I think it's how much the NFL has changed their league from year to year over the course of this Roger Goodell era. Now with the XFL, this gives us a bold alternative, also with the AAF, bold alternatives for leagues to help shape the future of the sport of football rather than just having one league dictate what the game's going to look like moving forward. And I know we're in a more health-conscious era, and we're going towards that in the future, and that's great and all. But with these different leagues now being able to voice their opinion, display different kinds of football, and we could all get what we like from a different league now. Or maybe eventually a universal set of rules will, in a utopia, will be agreed upon because we have multiple leagues showing us all the possibilities. So that's what I'm thankful for this year. New traditions, new possibilities in the sport of football. But overall, most importantly, guys, we are thankful for all of our listeners, all of our subscribers, and everybody going to thisisthexflshow.com, everybody getting hype for the XFL in 2020. Thank you so much. This Thanksgiving, we acknowledge you for sure. And remember, if you want to voice your opinion, 724-565-4XFL to get in on the XFL fan line. I'll tell you about that number a little bit later on. But finally, it's time to get to the main event this week, Jake. We've been putting this one off for way too long, and it is finally time to spotlight, I would say, the legend of all legends.
I was going to say this. This is the XFL legend here, not just a. But the.
Yeah. Apologies for the intro we're going to play for this segment. I believe we're going to hear this is the XFL legend. You're right, Jake. So here we go. Without further ado, we finally get to it. Another edition of This Is an XFL Legend.
This is an XFL legend.
Tommy's tirade.
Here's the dilemma. 9 seconds to go. You got 4th down. They're going to kick a field goal.
He can't make it. Let's don't kick it. If he can't make it, we got to go. 4th and
2. Tommy Maddox, the legend of all XFL legends, if you ask me, guys. Time to spotlight Tommy Gunn, who was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, raised in Texas, and went on to be the one and only XFL MVP and the XFL championship game winning quarterback. You have any Tommy Maddox memories, Bryant?
Plenty. I mean, I saw that man play 3 times in a LA Extreme jersey. I think I heard him yell about Jose Cortez missing those kicks from the stands, and I was way up there.
He can't make it. Let's don't kick it.
But he's probably the biggest legend out of the XFL. And you said it, the only MVP. If I could throw some stats at you guys, that'd be great.
Yeah.
He had almost 2,200 passing yards, 196 completions, 18 passing TDs. I'm going to average those out for you NFL fans. That was basically 3,500 yards passing, 314 completions, and 29 TDs. I mean, that's a solid season for anybody. I don't know what kind of season
especially
he had for the Steelers.
Especially in 2001, Bryant, before quarterback stats were inflated. This is 2001's
before you
XFL
could actually hit
season.
The quarterback. You're right.
And this was a 10-game season, and in this season, Tommy Maddox was the MVP, winning the title for the LA Extreme, and he also was the only quarterback that year to play in every game in the regular season. With how hard you were hitting quarterbacks in the XFL, for Tommy Gunn to make it through the whole season, Jake, maybe the most impressive stat of them all.
Oh yeah, at the end of the season, he took his O-line out to a nice steakhouse to really just say thank you.
With that XFL salary, you think?
Oh yeah, they won the $1 million game.
Yeah, it's $1 million.
Sure, that's a good point. I forgot about that one.
I mean, after taxes, I don't know what you take home, but still, chump change.
The journey that Tommy Maddox took to the XFL and beyond is iconic, is legendary. He was a UCLA standout quarterback, drafted in 1992 by the Denver Broncos to be the heir apparent to John Elway. Yet John Elway only went on to play, another 7-8 years after Tommy Maddox was drafted and win a couple of Super Bowls. But, after, not making it with the Broncos, it didn't pan out. He was bounced around. Rams, Giants, Jaguars, Falcons, and eventually Tommy Maddox was out of the NFL. A huge prospect, just never caught on, maybe never even really got that chance. But after falling out of the NFL, becoming an insurance salesman for a brief time, he got back at it. He got into the Arena League, and then the XFL came along, and Tommy Maddox joined the LA Extreme. But even more legendary, Bryant, was brought on as the backup. We have spotlighted another XFL legend. The first overall pick in the XFL, Scott Milanovic, was supposed to be the starting quarterback for the LA Extreme, but Tommy Maddox beat him out for the starting job, and the rest is XFL history in that regard.
Yeah, I'll never forget that man. He was the first overall pick as a punter. I mean, he was used a few times. I think if you remember, XFL had that over 25-yard rule where if it went 25 yards, it was a live ball. So they brought him in a couple times. to do a quick kick on like third down or something like that to see what they can get out of him. But yeah, Tommy Maddox, slinging it. Tommy Gunn. I guess he was called Tommy Gunn, right? That was a nickname.
Oh yes, Tommy Gunn. Especially if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because after Tommy Maddox won the XFL $1 Million game, 38-6 over the San Francisco Demons, I was there, Bryant. 16 of 28, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Tommy Gunn, your MVP. Shortly after the XFL folded after that, and then Tommy Maddox landed with the Pittsburgh Steelers behind Cordell Stewart as their backup quarterback, and eventually was brought in as the starter. Week 4, 2002, and well, the rest is his NFL history. Jake, you remember Tommy Maddox as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Eventually, he was the last Steeler quarterback before Ben Roethlisberger, but I'd say Tommy Maddox, greatest player in XFL history, and the XFL's version of Kurt Warner.
I think you're right about that. And going back a little bit about, this guy having to earn his spot, in the XFL, not anybody else's spot, but his spot. He was brought in to the National Football League, saying, "All right, Tommy, we're bringing you in. I just got a gut feeling that John Elway's ready to hang it up in a season or two." I think he's nearing the end of his career.
Yeah,
and it didn't go around. It didn't go down that way. Like you said, he was bounced around. The only champions of the league. And then, he came in with the Steelers, taking over for Cordell. Some people I know saw that as a welcome change. Some thought Cordell still had a lot to give. He went on to really no other success, I would say, on the football field. Found some success later in the television industry.
Yeah, Real Housewife of Atlanta, I believe is what it was.
I don't watch that program, but I'll take your word for it. Tommy Maddox, he had 13 starts, 10-5-1, eventually getting pulled early in the season for Ben Roethlisberger, and, no one's going to debate that scenario.
Yeah, that 2002 season, the 10-5-1 with the Steelers, where he was the man there. I mean, that was a crazy aerial attack that Tommy Gunn had with the Steelers. I mean, after the XFL, for him to go on and do that, bring a team to the playoffs, win a Super Bowl as a backup quarterback, it is legendary. And I'd say a great roadmap for future XFL players, because look at what Tommy Maddox was. He was a guy who missed out on NFL opportunities. He honed his game in the XFL, and he returned to find success in the NFL. And he's the greatest player in XFL history. It was a one-season league, but Tommy Maddox is the XFL legend, and we are proud to spotlight him this week on This Is the XFL Show. Anything left to say about Tommy Gunn, Bryant?
I will say this, and maybe not necessarily about Tommy Gunn, but I will be interested to see how the XFL handles players who do very well and then try to jump ship. That'd be something that I'm very much looking forward to.
Very much so. Yeah, we've heard Oliver Luck say, the commissioners say that players will have an opportunity to go to the NFL after the XFL seasons end, but you don't want too many guys jumping ship. We'll see, especially if this league is going to last more than a season. I assume Tommy Maddox would have been back with the Extreme winning another championship had the XFL stuck around. Instead, he landed with the Pittsburgh Steelers and was playing in the NFL playoffs, less than a year later. So good for him. The XFL folding did not stop Tommy Maddox. Jake, anything else on Tommy Gunn?
I mean, Alan, you can relate just like me. Tommy Maddox was a big deal in these parts in the NFL. You couldn't go to a Kmart or an Ames or a Hills without seeing knockoff Tommy Maddox shirts.
Those are Pittsburgh stores, and yeah, he was big in Pittsburgh for about a season and a half, and then everybody said, go and draft a quarterback already, and they got Ben Roethlisberger. But Tommy Gunn, what a legend. The XFL legend. We'll spotlight more XFL legends for any of you who maybe weren't around during 2001 and that iconic season in the XFL. And if you missed any of our other spotlights of XFL legends, go back in the archives. This is the XFLshow.com. We'll be back next week. Football Sunday, 7 a.m. every single football Sunday. That's 7 a.m. Eastern with new shows talking XFL football, talking XFL legends, all the news. And hey, we're here in early December. Cities will be announced. Do you feel like it's actually going to happen pretty soon, Jake? I know you've been wanting it to be held off for a while, but I have a feeling I'm going to call it 2 weeks from this week, the 25th of November, the show drops. This week's show drops. I think we're going to know cities. I think.
I think you're right. Maybe not exactly 2 weeks, but I do think that we're going to have a Christmas present from the XFL.
Oh, that'd be so nice. Brian, anything left, man, before we head out of here?
It's good to be back. Sorry, guys. I'm glad you guys didn't forget about me and fill my roster spot with someone else. So sorry, I'll try to be around more often.
It's all right. I know sometimes you have to go on injured reserve, but you're always welcome back. We appreciate you showing up. We're thankful
Thank you for not Tommy Maddoxing me. Is what it is. I guess
we did not Tommy Maddox you. We're thankful for you, Vince, Jake. Thank you guys. Talking football every week. We'll be back next week, everybody. So tell your friends if they haven't heard about the XFL and they want to learn about it. That's what you'll do right here. If they want to get hyped for it, that's what they'll do right here every single week. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to great podcasts. We are there, and we're also on YouTube because this is the XFL Show.